I would agree. I like the Romulans in this. I had a quick. Do the Vulcans not know what the Romulans look like either at this point? No. Nobody knows.
No.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's a big surprise. It's a surprise to even Spock in Balance of Terror when he sees them for the first time. He can't explain it. He can't explain why they look the way that they do. Yeah, so I don't know how the logistics of that work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that's an interesting concept when you get into space travel, because, like, I guess there is no reason why you would know what some species look like, because you see their ship go by, it's like, oh, we know that's a Romulan ship, and so, well, we've never talked to them, we've never stopped and chatted with them or anything, so we don't know what they look like.
It's only strange here because just the way that the show works, you're basically all ships are chatty and all ships talk to each other. So the Romulans really stick out as a strange case
antisocial
example. Yeah, as antisocial and a strange case study for this kind of stuff because they have an empire, but no one has ever seen them or talked to them somehow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think it is, as we kind of talked about last time, you are painted into a bit of a corner with this show because they can't see them ever.
It's always sad when I realize it while watching that. I'm always like, oh, they're never going to be able to talk to these guys. So it's always a little bit of an energy drain.
The one thing that I noticed is that they've never said that. Like, at no point, like, they talk about the Romulans, but I don't think at any point they've ever been like, I don't know, what do these guys even look like? They've never done that.
Yeah.
And I like that they haven't drawn attention to that because I think it's the kind of thing that unless you know that fact that nobody knows what the Romulans look like at this point in history, I don't think you would even think about it because you see the Romulans, so you understand it. Like, you understand what the Romulans look like. And I think it's subtle enough of a thing that in this show, you wouldn't even think twice about the fact that, oh, they were never on a view screen and no one ever like talked to them face to face or anything like that. So I think it's a detail that's nice for people who know, but not necessary to understand the story.
That's interesting. If I had not thought about this until you said that, but this feels to me a lot like. That feels, in a lot of ways, I know they're stuck there through canon, but it feels very much an Enterprise writing decision because we talked about how in the Serenite Vulcan trilogy arc, Archer at no point ever goes, so what do the Serenites think about stuff?
Yeah.
Like it's very much an Enterprise thing where no one seems particularly curious about things that are out there. They're just like, yeah. Because now that I am a little bit struck now that for how much they've talked about the Romulans, no character's ever been like, I wonder what they look like. Do you think they're humanoid?
Right.
Like, do you think that they, like, what's their deal? Why are they so secretive and stuff like that? I think the show knows that they can't do that, but it does shine a light on the prequel nature of it where the writers are not going to waste time talking about stuff that they cannot answer for this crew. Right, so why bother talking about it?
Well, I think you also get into it kind of amazes me that they had the restraint in this instance because, like, I feel like the other way you handle that is you do have somebody say what you just said where it's like, what do you think they look like? Do you think they've got tentacles? Do you think they've got fish heads on top of Mick Fleetwood bodies under there? Mm-hmm. And then if they had done that, we would have been like, ugh, they had to make the connection that they don't know what they look like, blah, blah, blah. So I think it would have been kind of groan-worthy if they had tried to do it. So I actually prefer that they didn't.
It definitely would have ended if it had gone that trip would have looked at DePaul and goes, maybe they got pointy ears.
Exactly. Yes. But I'm glad that they didn't, but it also is interesting when you think about it that nobody even bothers to ask. Like they don't look at Archer doesn't look at Shran or Tellurite #1 over there who have been around the space much more than he has and go like, hey, what's the deal with the Romulans?
Right.
Who are these people?
That's the big thing. Yeah.
And the other two go, I don't know. We've never seen them before. They just keep showing up and smashing our mailboxes and driving away.
I think that's the problem with it really on like a larger level is that the Romulans are a known commodity. People know the Romulans, but no one knows the Romulans. So there's somehow this galactic force that is capable of interfering, and everyone knows their name. Like no one's like, I've never heard of the Romulans before. What the hell are the Romulans? They know them, but it doesn't have that moment, as you say, where they all are sitting around the table and realize one by one that no one has seen them. Like, you haven't seen them either? Like, has anyone seen a Romulan in the flesh? No, not really.